Alright guys, so today I am in GPT-5 thinking mode, the highest quality version, and I am also in Gemini 2.5 Pro. And no, before you ask, I'm not an AI, so don't worry. I am going to be using these two AIs to do simply the same task. Okay, I provided it a flowchart of 3 different pieces of art that I've made. Okay, for a PCB schematic builder, okay, called Easy PCB Builder Test. Okay, just something real simple. Okay, and I've given it these little systems. Very simple. Very, very simple. Now, I've done this because I'm actually trying to kind of recreate another app. Well, not an app, but more specifically a book into an app. And that is the Engineer's Mini Notebook 5x5 Timer IC Circuits. Now, if anyone of you are familiar with this book, then you already know kind of how it works. But for those that are not, okay, essentially you draw a circuit, okay, on the top, and then you give a brief explanation, okay, and then a graph below. So it's pretty simple. It works pretty straightforward, and yeah, it's just a single page system. So it should, in theory, be monolithic available. In theory, we should be able to make this all on one page. It's going to be probably around 1,000 lines or more, but that's the idea, as we're trying to really push these things to their limit and see what they can do. Now, I've seen a lot of cool little videos online circulating through ChatGPT and that of 2.5 Pro Gemini, and I've noticed a lot of people are kind of hyping them up as these crazy tools that can just do anything with a one-shot and a flowchart. Now, I'm not really too sure about that, but we're going to try. So today we're going to give them both a one-shot, and we're going to see if they can do them, and then we're going to play with them both and just see if either of them succeed. If they don't, then we'll give them each a few more prompts. I'll say, let's say 10 each, and if they can't do the task, then we'll just call this hype. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So I provided both of them with the exact same prompt and the exact same 3 reference images for my app. I'm going to make sure they are both on canvas mode and both in their highest form of thinking, which in this case we have both of them on GPT-5 thinking mode. So we're going to go ahead and I can't technically press them at the same time, obviously you know that, but we're just going to go ahead and see which one does better. So I'll go ahead and press this one, I'll go over here, I'll press this one, and we'll wait. So we can already start to see that GPT-5 thinking is actually thinking. We should be able to see that 2.5 Pro is also thinking. Now you can see that as far as Pro is definitely thinking faster. This could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, I'm not really too sure. But we're about to find out. So without further ado, it seems that GPT-5 is thinking a little slower, taking a little bit more time to analyze the documents and create a README for the system so that it can actually understand the code. So this one is getting it wrong already. It thinks that I want the 3 apps into a Canvas document, probably a README or task list. It's not what I want. So we could just stop it here and say I wanted an HTML app. It's simple. Go ahead and try to give it the same prompt again, and we'll see what it can come up with. I did not give it the same images again because I'm assuming that it can remember them. That's what they do say. They say it has memory. So we're going to actually go with that. And we're just going to use it as it's intended. So yeah, let's see if this is all false hype or if this is actually capable of replacing us developers. We can definitely see that 2.5 Pro actually understood the task on the first time. I'm not sure how well, obviously, because we haven't seen its code yet, but we can see that it did actually start coding, and it knew that we wanted an app, not a task list. So that's pretty good. Okay, so this one now seems to actually understand that it is an app. It doesn't seem to be able to access the images, even though that I didn't give it any images. So I'm starting to think that GPT-5 has actually been dumbed down quite a bit. Kind of sad. It's looking very, very low on this end. I don't really see much of a bright future for GPT-5 at this moment, given that GPT-4o just a few months ago would have done this in a heartbeat. Okay, so it seems that 2.5 Pro has already built the app. Now let's go ahead and see if it actually works. So we'll go to the symbol library, and we can see it has actually created our symbols. Very good. Okay. Now let's see if we can actually add a symbol system in the section. So we should have a section here and add it, and it should ask us to add a schematic, a title, or etc., like a graph. So looks pretty promising here. It added our prompt for our architect's daughter, which is something in our prompt. So that's actually really good. So we'll just say, this is a cool page text. Okay. And then we'll add a new section. We'll say schematic. We should be able to right click on this. As you can see, we can. And drop a node. So as you can see, it's a little off on its its placement system. But let's see if we can. Yeah, so I don't see any way to add an actual node to it. So it does seem to have not done that. Let's see if we can delete it. Okay, so it does have the delete function. So that's good. Let's go ahead and see if we can add a node to one of these bad boys. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so you cannot actually draw wires, so that's one big downside that I'm seeing. Okay, let's try to add a chart section. Let's just see if this works. And as we can see, there is no chart data that we can add. We cannot actually add any chart data, so it seems to have completely failed on that task, and it's just an utter fail on that one. Let's see if it got the okay, so it did get the themes correct based on our original references, so that's good. So it definitely got our themes right, but yeah, let's see if we can hide the grid. Okay, so we can. So these don't have anything that they can do. These you can't do. So yeah, let's see if we can export this, can we? Let's see if it did this properly. I'm gonna honestly be kind of surprised if it did, given that it failed on all these other small things. I'm gonna be surprised if it can actually have done this more advanced thing, which is exporting all of this without the editor functionality. And no, it did not. Okay, so pretty simple. It cannot do that. It simply cannot, and it is just kind of shit. So, yeah. I hate to break it to you guys, but 2.5 Pro, as far as one-shotting, not very capable. Looks cool, sounds cool, but it can't really do anything even really half-ass advanced. So let's go ahead and see if this one did anything for us. Go ahead and see what it's doing here. So this one's definitely a lot more code, it seems, so far. Actually, let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and check. Check how many lines it says. Okay, no, so we're at 800 lines over here. So, and like I said, this should preferably be about 1,000 lines if it does it right. And as you can see, we've already exceeded the max document length here. on GPT-5 on only 564 lines, guys. What an utter failure. Utter failure. I mean, just absolute fail. I cannot believe it. So I think that already kind of concludes this video. There's not really much we can do. If we keep adding, it's just going to keep messing things up because it's at its context length. Essentially, it can't really go past this. I have stretched it to about 1,200 lines before, but usually then it just starts breaking. I'm going to be honest, as someone who's experienced with using these systems as well as actually programming, these are really not there yet. The closest thing you're going to get is something like Replit Agent or maybe Base 44 or something like that. And those are usually highly paid programs, and they're extremely expensive, and they're just not worth it. You're not really getting the control they promise. I've tried both of them, and they're kind of just bullshit. I'm going to be honest. It's not really worth your time. Not really worth your time. Your best thing is to try to build modules and try to build components separately and essentially build them in HTMLs. Or modular stacks, essentially, with JS or TypeScript, etc. And just try to learn these systems as best you can. I'll actually be releasing a learning course here pretty soon. It's actually going to be a text document, which essentially allows you to go through and understand and learn each and every bit by actually utilizing the syntax and understanding it to a deeper level. And this will allow you to actually learn JavaScript. And then use that along with your HTML and CSS knowledge if you do have it. And if you do not have it, we'll be going over that as well. So, as well as how to build snippets and VS Code and so on. I hope that this kind of shows everybody that, this isn't quite there yet. And it's definitely, it's definitely got some time to go. I'd give it maybe about at least 3 or 4 years before it's really there. But from what I've seen recently is that they've been dumbing all these models down to save cost on their end and make it to where we have to pay more and more and more and stretch it longer and longer and longer conversations and really just have to go back and forth with them. About a year ago, these models were actually capable of doing such tasks, believe it or not. I'm quite aware. And, it's kind of just sad that it's gotten to the point where they can't really do anything. It's really, really a shame. So, anyways, you guys, hope that this video helps, and hope this kind of settles the debate whether GPT-5 or 2.5 Pro is really worth them and worth the hype. It's really not. It's just not, and definitely not in my opinion. They utterly both failed the task compared to the hype that that people are giving them. They're acting like they can just do anything, and it's quite obvious that they cannot. So, yeah, maybe next time we'll do something a little simpler, and we'll see if it can maybe make a, something like cards.io, I think that's what it's called, where you could do like a planner app or something to keep track of things. We'll try that next, but until then, without further ado, I'll see you guys next time.